Hey, 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 what's up, family, friends, and foes? It's your girl, Philly Cigar Join.
And your guy, Chief, bringing you another episode of Sticks, Brims, and Stilettos. So you know what time it is. Grab your glasses and your sticks, and let's get ready to smoke another hot topic. Welcome back, family. Hey, Philly.
Hey, Chief.
Even though my team isn't in it, your team isn't in it,
Boo.
it's that time again.
Yes, it is. And I'm still excited, though. I'm just a football girl, so I love football.
I love football. It's Super Bowl time.
Yes,
we will have this Sunday the former Super Bowl champs, the Chiefs,
Yes.
and also former Super Bowl champs, the San Francisco
Boo.
49ers. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm interested in watching football. I'm not interested in watching Taylor Swift clap her hands every time Travis Kelce catches
can
a
you repeat
pass.
that? Say that one more
I
again
am
for the
not
people in the back.
interested in watching Taylor Swift
Right.
jump up and down and clap her hands every time Travis Kelce catches a football. And I don't understand why the NFL, I do understand.
I do. Right. And you know
But I don't
why.
understand.
It's part of the machine, right? Because what Taylor Swift has done, she has broadened the viewership of women watching football.
Wow.
That's what I mean. It's all
Makes sense.
It's all an angle, right?
Makes sense.
And that's why they continuously promote her. Why you think Travis Kelce? Well, I'm not gonna hold you. He is a nice looking man. I used to talk about Travis before he got with Taylor. I said, oh, he a nice looking guy. So why not, if you're, you thinking from that business angle, of course they're going to give him more commercials. They're going to zoom in on her every time he catch a ball, make a touchdown, see her jumping up and down. I don't watch football for that. I've always been a football chick. So I don't need that extra motivation to get into football like some women do. But at the end of the day, Taylor Swift have increased the viewership of women for the NFL, and that's why they're continuously going down that road with the Travis.
So have they actually reported those metrics that that actually had that impact?
They have not, and this is my hypothesis, and
Okay.
I promise you, it's probably true.
It's a reasonable hypothesis.
Yes, but I'm not here for Taylor.
Well,
not here for
I don't
that.
recall him doing that when he was with the previous young lady, the previous girlfriend.
But unfortunately, she was not Taylor Swift.
She was not.
Taylor Swift is a billionaire entertainer
Okay.
who reaches different demographics.
In this world we live in today,
Mm-hmm.
in this world that we live in today, could that whole connection have been manufactured? Is that possible?
That's what some people are saying.
Is that possible?
They don't believe they believe it's part of the hype. Like, yeah, it's a manufactured.
So was that is this an arranged situation?
That's what a lot of folks are saying. And I'm gonna be honest with you. And people who know Travis Scott and the type of woman
Travis Kelce.
I'm sorry, Travis Scott. I'm sorry, Travis Scott.
Travis Scott likes the Kardashians.
Yeah, there you go. Let me bring that back. Travis Kelce.
Yes.
If you go back and look at his previous girlfriends, they are the total opposite of Taylor Swift. They're women of color, shapely women, but her name is Taylor Swift, and that's why he's dating her, and that's why all the hype is around them, and it is infused into football now.
Wow.
That's why.
I had about enough of it. Taylor Swift is a nice young lady.
I like some of her songs, her
she's
music,
a
but I don't want to see her.
excellent performer, but she is not a football coach.
No.
She's not a football player.
No.
She's not even a Kansas City Chief cheerleader.
But let's stick to the game of football on Sunday. How about that?
Let's stick to the game of football.
Yes.
And we're going to come right back to football. We're going to take a quick second to recognize our sponsor, Huck Spirits. Log into www.huckspirits.com. Take advantage of the special package that they have. But more importantly, make sure you enter the code SBS when you go to huckspirits.com. I'm telling you won't be disappointed by that sangria. Check it out. So let's get back to this whole conversation. Now, something that emerged after the game was this video clip of Andy Reid berating
Yes.
one of the players. And I'm telling you, it sounded just like Andy Reid. And come to find out, it was artificial intelligence, AI, that was used to make it sound like Andy Reid had made these statements.
Because of how much Kadarius has hurt them. Hopefully Kadarius doesn't embarrass himself by showing up next Sunday. I personally don't care what Kadarius does. I feel like we're a better team without his brick-ass hands, as Patty put it. If anything, we should have put Pat and the rest of the team on the injury report because of how much Kadarius has hurt them. Hopefully Kadarius doesn't embarrass himself by showing up next Sunday.
Infusing this as a part of the conversation, AI is dangerous.
Very dangerous. And I've been saying this for years. You know, a lot of people are excited about it. And don't get me wrong, AI is a great tool to use in so many different ways. But I fear AI because AI is currently a disruptor, right? But it can be a destructor as well if it's in the wrong hands, if it's placed in the wrong hands. And if we continuously feed these computers, one day it's going to come a point where these computers are going to outsmart humans.
Oh, well, they've already had a couple of situations. They've had a couple of situations where AI bots have taught themselves so intelligently that they actually started to hold conversations. The bots,
Yes.
the AI bots, started to hold conversations with one another that was unintelligible to human beings. But they were talking. They wrote their own code and language to be able to speak to one another. They literally had to shut these bots down. And guess what? That was 7 years ago.
Facebook has been toying with artificial intelligence in its chatting features, but its robots may have gotten out of hand. According to several reports, Facebook artificial intelligence researchers had to shut down 2 chatbots after they developed a strange English shorthand. The bots were supposed to learn how to trade virtual objects with each other, but instead began repeating words in a mysterious and nonsensical pattern. Facebook researchers say that the pattern mirrors how humans develop speech patterns, but that hasn't stopped public fear of the AI's capabilities.
Another industry that better be very careful or be on the watch when it comes to AI is Hollywood.
Oh, absolutely.
All these writer strikes and
Oh, yeah.
These actors are standing down because they're not getting what they're asking for. Boop, pop AI up in that movie. Or pop some ideas.
Man,
into
tell
the computer.
AI to write a script and a storyline based on these elements and these parameters, and AI might give you a story that a human being could never have produced.
And not only that, and they can put the actor on the screen with CGI.
Absolutely.
So when you have the CGI and AI, they all tied together.
That's right.
So that is one industry that I'm sure is very fearful of AI because they know what the future looks like with AI. Like, you may be out of a job.
Yeah.
And look at the writers, the producers, the directors. All that can be AI generated.
And I'm gonna tell you, the dangers of AI hit very close to home for me. Last week, a day after I watched the AFC championship game, and unfortunately my Ravens did not win that game, but on that Monday afterwards, my mother called me and she said, "Hey, I want to share something with you. I got a phone call telling me there was a problem with my bank account, that they were gonna have to shut my bank account down, but before they did that, the remaining money in my bank account, they needed me to go and obtain some cards, some Visa debit cards, transfer my balance onto those cards, give them the number off those cards that were purchased, and then they would use that to transfer my remaining money back into an account that had not been compromised." My 77-year-old mother was getting ready to get in her car and drive to the Target near her house and obtain these gift cards and then call. Thankfully, she had the presence of mind to say, "Something doesn't sound right. let me go in and check my account. She went in and checked her account. She saw where her account had not been compromised. But again, she's getting up in age, and I'm not saying she old, because really in this day and age in 2024, 77 ain't old by any stretch of imagination. It's not over the hill by any stretch. But she called me, and I was a little upset. Sorry, Mom. I was a little upset with her. Like, you have 3 children who have spent their entire adult lives in law enforcement. So if I would expect any parent not to get ready to put their coat on and go to Target and fall for this, it would be you, Mom. Yeah. But then I also became incensed by the fact that, someone could utilize this type of scam and type of scheme. It's very dangerous.
But let me tell you something. Unfortunately, that's very common. And my day job, I work for the utility industry, and that has been going on for years in the utility industry, and that's not so much AI, but it's people calling. And there's a lot, I hate to say it, a lot of Nigerians, they call. Right. I know an elected official, his wife got that way.
Oh, yeah.
And she went out and purchased $300 worth of gift cards because they threatened and said her utility services were going to be cut off. Right. And she's an older lady too. She went out, she got the gift cards, and she read them the numbers. And not only that, not to cut you off, but my mom, a couple of years ago, they called my mother and said they had kidnapped her grandson. And my mother, one thing I would say about Pat, she will call one of us first. Is Jordan with you? She says at first it kind of sounded like him in the background. Then she thought about it, and then she said, "That ain't my damn grandson. Get the hell off my phone."
Right.
You know how my mom is. But I'm telling you, between the scams, the AI, it's too much out here, and people have to continuously be on their toes. And I just posted something not too long ago. You gotta watch it out on social media too. They have these fake sites. One was Fashion Nova. So another thing, when you're scrolling on these social media platforms,
you see the advertisements.
The advertisement, it said jeans $9.99. I'm like, what jeans? And I'm getting all excited. I'm like, whoa! And I'm looking, and the way they catch you. And anybody who shop on Fashion Nova knows it's this one model that almost models everything for Fashion Nova. So I'm looking, I was like, yo, because that's the model from Fashion Nova. And I'm looking, then something told me to pause. I said, let me go out and go to the actual Fashion Nova website. Went to the actual Fashion Nova website. Yeah, they had a sale on jeans. It was 50% off. The jeans were like $30-something. They were selling them there for $9.99. It was a whole fake website.
No, they were taking.
Ladies, please be aware of fake Fashion Nova ads on social media websites. I clicked on this link because it says you can get jeans starting at $5. And wow, what do you see? Jeans for $5, $6. And everybody knows, hey, that is the Fashion Nova model. This must be the actual website. So I'm scrolling, I'm getting excited. I am feeling these jeans. But something in me told me, wait, this seems way too good to be true. So what I decided to do is to go directly into Fashion Nova myself. So I went out of this site and I keyed in the actual Fashion Nova website. And voila, look at there. I said, let me go to the jeans to see if the jeans are actually starting at $5. Not. That was a completely fake website. So ladies, please be careful when you're clicking on links embedded on social media sites. When in doubt, go directly into the site
website.
No, they were taking people's money.
They were taking people money. And I did a whole little short on that. Like, be careful. So this is what I tend to do, especially when you're on those social media sites when they have that advertisement.
Yeah.
Don't click on the link directly inside the social media. Go outside, open a new window, and go directly into that platform or that website that you're trying to go to. Because it's scary out here.
So let me tell you what's scary too. Like what we're doing right now, right? We're putting ourselves out into the atmosphere. right? For viewer consumption, listening
Yes.
consumption. We do our shows that are anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes long. That's 30 to 40 minutes of our voices, our diction, our pronunciation, our inflection, our tone, our dialect. All of that can be captured and reproduced through AI, right? And just like they did with Andy Reid, right? Somebody could say,
all of 'em.
yeah, somebody could say, and this recently happened in a school district on the East Coast. Somebody could take and develop a whole conversation using my voice or using your voice,
Yes.
and have that conversation saying very disparaging things about people and all that. Then what they can do is they can produce that.
Yes.
They can leak it as being anonymous and claim that they secretly recorded you saying these things, talking about this person, planning to do something that you have never planned to do,
Right.
and turn your world and your life upside down. Folks, I'm telling you in the audience,
Real.
these things can happen.
Yes.
And you know, one of the things that I'll share, I served in the military, the United States military, as a service member.
Thank you
for-
for your service.
Yeah, for right around 10 years. Right when I was getting ready to get, about a year before I was getting ready to get out of the military, we got this order that everybody had to give a sample of their DNA. And just because of the way I'm wired, I was a young guy then in my 20s, right? Just because of the way I'm wired, I was like, I don't want to give a sample of my DNA. And I want to know why. Because really, as service members, you just follow orders.
Right.
Hey, you need to go over to the base clinic on this day. You get your little form, and you're going over for this reason. You're going for your dental appointment. You're going for your physical. On this day, you're going to give a sample of your DNA. So when I got there, I was like, I asked the captain. She was a medical person. I said, why are we giving a sample of our DNA? And she was like, well, we want to never have a situation of an unknown soldier, an unknown service member killed in the line of duty where we can't make identification any other type of way because the body might have been damaged or whatever. So I literally pushed back. I heard it and I said, I'm not due for any type of deployment. And so I asked her, was there a waiver? And you know, she looked at me. I must have been the only person to come over to the clinic that day to ask about a waiver.
Right.
And she was like, that's a good question. She said, but I'm going to say no. So I said, well, I like to check into it. So I did. I left the clinic
Right.
because I said if push come to shove, I just reschedule it.
Right.
So I was trying to get answers on that or what have you, but I was being pretty much told, nah, it's an order. So what I did was I never went back over to like reschedule. Do you know it was 3 months before I was getting ready to get out? Because it was probably I had about 9 months left of service. It was 3 months before I was getting ready to get out, and I got a notice that I need to go over there and give a sample of my DNA. So when I went back over, of course, it's a different medical person this time, and I'm saying, I'm going to get out in 3 months. I don't want to give up a sample of my DNA. But anyway, long story short, I was forced to give up a sample. And this is what I said to myself when I was on my way home. And this was back in 1997. I said, when you have a sample of my DNA, you can put me anywhere in the world you want to put me.
Right.
And it's going to be up to me to prove I wasn't there.
That's very true.
You could put me at the scene of a crime, a serious crime, when you have a sample of my DNA. Now, of course, our government and the people who run these type of programs would never do that.
Watch your mouth.
I know they would never do that to any
Not our government.
any American, and especially any former service member.
Absolutely not.
However, based on the way I'm wired, and I've been that way since I was young, that's what I said to myself.
Right.
And I was so bothered by it. I remember calling my dad, who also served in the service. And I explained everything, like their rationale, their reason for telling me, but I also told him what my rationale was.
Right.
And you know what my father said?
What?
He said, damn, son. Until you got to that part, I was wondering what the big deal was.
Right.
My father said that, rest his soul. He said, damn, son, until you got to that part.
But that makes me think about when you do the ancestry and the 23andMe,
Yeah.
they have your DNA.
They have your DNA.
And the light bulb just went off in my head too, because I didn't think about that, and I have done that. I know plenty of people who have submitted their DNA to those different.
I'm gonna tell you,
labs.
I was upset by it, but once it was done, I couldn't. No sense of staying upset. Like they got, but I just said, like, what if I leave here and I ascend to some level,
right,
out in society? I don't know what that level might be. There have been plenty of service people who have become senators,
Yes.
and congressmen,
Yes.
high-powered lawyers, judges,
Public figures.
What if I get out there, I ascend to some level, right, and some status, and I move in a certain way that's not wrong, but is not pleasing to the power structure?
They're gonna pull out that DNA
And
sample.
I mean, is that far-fetched?
No,
Audience,
it's not.
is that far-fetched? Let me know. Let me know if I'm reaching. Let me know if none of this is possible and it's just all in my head. But this is what I thought.
And to your point, and this is why you're seeing more and more legislation being built or being presented, bills on AI, because AI is, like I said, it can be the most
It's crazy.
pleasant thing. It can be the
It's a
greatest
gift
thing
and a
in the
curse.
world. Is a gift and a
And a
curse.
curse.
So, but let's think about it this way too. Just removing the government, it's so much AI in the world today. It's apps. Think about a dedicated, loving husband who come home every night, is faithful to his wife, his family. He go to work, he got this chick that's been on his hip. He been pushing back. Only thing sis got to do, because like you said, she's in meetings with him. She could be secretly recording his voice.
You don't need that much.
She correct his home.
Oh yeah. Oh
This.
yeah. Could call you to your point, because you don't need that long of a segment
Right.
of a person's speech and language to be able to capture it.
She can create anything.
Man, she create
Send it
anything,
to his wife.
and she could call a wife. She call a wife and say, "Hey, I'm Jane Doe, and I'm feeling bad about this. I feel guilty. I just want to let you know that I've been having an affair with your husband,
Yes.
and
if you don't believe me, here's a recording.
if you don't believe me,
Yes, listen
here's
to
a
this.
recording, and I'm only sharing this with you because of the guilt that I'm feeling, and it's all fabricated.
AI
Can
is
destroy
above-
the man's life,
Yes.
or vice versa.
Or
A man doing
woman,
that to a woman,
whomever.
Yes. But it's scary, because let's say you got my voice and you create this whole conversation or this dialogue,
Yes.
and then you also have access to my DNA, however, and now you done put my voice and my DNA at the scene of somebody who was abducted and had something terrible done to them.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden, we've produced DNA, and we also have a recording
Right.
of the X, Y, and Z. The stuff is scary. It's
And
dangerous.
these athletes better watch out too
Oh yeah.
with these false allegations. I'm telling you, because all you got to do is go to the internet, pull up a voice, what's that?
All you had to do is an interview, a post-game interview.
and take that information, that voice, put it into an app,
That's right.
and God knows anything can happen.
You can take images of people
Images
and make it so
voices.
realistic
Yes.
and put them in places.
Yeah.
You want to get at somebody at work. You create a whole bar scene,
Yeah.
put the person in that scene, timestamp it at 1:00 in the afternoon when they should have been at work. And now you anonymously slip out some pictures where the person was sitting at a bar having drinks when they were never there. It's crazy.
And I know we're talking about the negative impacts of AI, but there are some also very numerous positive impacts with AI. I recently started using AI more for professional and personal reasons. And it's like a nanosecond. You can put in 4, 5, 6 lines and tell them to create a storyline off of these words, and they'll shoot back an entire, like maybe 5 or 6 paragraphs off of those 5 words. So it can be used in a positive way, many positive ways, but it's that small percentage of evil people out there that will use it in a negative way, in a harmful way.
The small percentage of evil is growing,
Yes, it is.
and we're seeing it.
It is.
The more access people have to certain tools, the more access people have to certain resources, the more we're starting to see nefarious activity, nefarious behavior. There's a subset of people out there in society who don't care. They will try to harm you.
And a lot of them prey on, the underserved communities
Yes.
and elderly. That's why we have to continuously educate our Black communities. We got to check in on our parents. We have to make them aware, give them tips and tricks and things to look out for, or just have them call you, because I'm telling you, it's growing. It's getting larger, and it's just happening more frequently.
And I'm gonna tell you something. You hit on a point, right? Underserved communities, disadvantaged communities.
Yes.
The more we see the economic gap, right? The more, there was something that a professor said to me said to the class when we were in grad school. We were talking about economics. The more desperation that exists in your life, the easier it is for you to be compromised,
Yes,
right?
I agree.
So the more desperation you have, whether, for resources, economics, family situation, right? This is why they do such a thorough background and investigation when you get like high level secret clearances, right? Because they don't want any human being could be compromised. If they say that they can't, they can't. It's not that you will be, but is there potential? It's potential for anything. But it's not to say you would succumb to it. And so that's why they do these deep scrubs to make sure you don't have any deep financial stuff going on, to make sure you don't have any real serious compromising things going on, because then you become more susceptible to taking bribes. You become more susceptible, to being extorted, Yeah. And so, the more desperation, the more you might be susceptible to being compromised. And, but back to the AI thing. It's scary. I know you say you're using it. It's scary because what scares me the most, and I'll let you finish your thought. They continuously tell us that AI continues to teach itself, and what it learns is infinite. That's scary.
It is. Now, when we were researching this, I saw a quote from Elon Musk, and this is what really scared me. He said AI is more of a threat, and actually is more dangerous than nukes.
Oh, I can believe that.
Nukes.
I can believe that.
Listen, the world we're living in, and like you said, we have the desperate people. The pool of desperate people is growing.
And I believe that the AI is more dangerous than nukes, because the execution and the deployment of nuclear weapons is definitely going to be based on human decision.
Yes.
AI, at the end of the day, I don't care how intelligent it gets, it will never have a soul. It will never have a spirit, and it will never have human emotion. Even if it can mimic those things, it will not have the God-given attributes that human beings have, right? So it doesn't. Finally, the last thing that AI will never have is a conscience.
Absolutely. Computer generated.
Yes.
And it will get to a point where the computer will definitely outsmart humans.
Now, though they weren't AI, I did have a couple old girlfriends that didn't have a conscience either.
Goofy. And we're back. But yeah, you know, it's a wonderful thing, but like you said, it's a blessing and a curse. And we just have to be very careful in how we use AI. Because like I said, it can be used in a lot of positive ways. And this is one thing I am, like, the government, again, we definitely need bills and legislation around AI. But it's going to be curbed
to the point where it's going to benefit the government more so than the
yeah.
constituents.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
these bills, is legislation that's going to be put in place around AI is going to benefit the government more so than it will the constituents.
Oh yeah. Well,
You know this.
and the government is supposed to be for and by the people, but more and more there seems to be this separation
Absolutely.
where the government is the government and not necessarily the people. I mean, it's just what we are. But I'm gonna tell you, the whole self-driving cars and the AI that goes into the self-driving cars, that's another thing that we have to think about.
Manipulated.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Very easily. And they now have to create programs to capture AI being used to write college papers.
Yes, they have software
finals.
now.
Yeah, software to be able to, it used to be software to look for plagiarism. But hell,
So
now
my
you could
son
tell.
told me, they had that, at his school, where they'll run a paper through some type of software to see whether or not it's AI generated.
Yeah, because you can get the AI to not publish something that's already been published, so you can avoid the plagiarism.
Right.
But now they have to scrub it to make sure you didn't use AI.
to
Right?
produce it.
You told AI to do something, and then you went and got on the PlayStation 5. It did your thing while AI is writing your whole.
And you know what? And that's another thing, because I notice people at work. So I can tell. You can tell, especially if you work with somebody for a very long time.
Right.
And all of a sudden, their emails are coming through more succinct, and it's just not in their style. You can tell when somebody's using AI. And to me, it's just making us even more lazy
Yeah.
as people.
So you're absolutely right, because when you get folks having a conversation with you that can't conjugate a verb, an adjective, and a noun in the same sentence, right? And when they tell you,
Email.
and when they tell you stuff like you need to be more specific about what you're saying, when they talk to you like that, and then they send you this correspondence.
With these fishes.
Yeah. They send you this correspondence, and you would think that their written word is coming from the highest intellectual orator that you could ever listen to.
Yeah.
And you saying, like, you don't even converse anywhere remotely close to what you just put in this correspondence.
We're becoming lazier. I first, with the texting with me, I hate the acronyms that people use. Everything is acronyms, and the way the shorthand.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That was one thing. Now you have AI, and we're just becoming. We're just gonna be a big dumb lazy country.
AI
Country
and
full of people just lazy.
a country of AI and BBLs. So
Okay.
I mean, that's where we're going, right? Yeah. Well, anyway, back to this whole Super Bowl. Who do you have?
So here's my thing. Neither one of them, I'm not a fan. I'm a diehard Eagles fan, but because of that, I always got to go with Andy Reid.
Okay.
Andy Reid, I will always love me some Andy Reid. So I'm going with the Chiefs, and I don't like San Fran. San Fran is too narcissistic for me. I don't like them.
Well, I think
just don't
Kansas
like them.
City is too cocky.
They are cocky, but they can back it up too. They almost like Floyd Mayweather. He's cocky, but when he get in that ring, he gonna do his job. So for me, I have Chiefs, and I'm gonna say 31-21.
You have the Chiefs 31-21.
Yeah, go Andy.
I'm going to be very honest. I'm not choosing either one of them
Okay.
because I could give 2 cents
Me either.
on which one of those teams wins.
This is fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. Anyway, I do know this, and I'm gonna look right in the camera and say this, and y'all can share this with Travis Kelce if you want. I don't care what the media and all this propaganda is that's being fed out here in the atmosphere, but Travis Kelce, my father was wearing one of the sharpest, one of the most handsome, well-cut, fade haircuts before you were even thought of.
Right, before you was even born.
Yeah, and I'm much older than you, and I was wearing them in high school and the military while you were still running around in your Pampers. So I don't know why they're trying to sell the public that you somehow have revolutionized, or you somehow have
Resurrected.
innovated or resurrected the fade hairstyle.
Come on, son.
Miss me like you missed that pass in the second quarter against the Ravens.
Exactly. And with that, that is a great way to end the show. So enjoy the Super Bowl, and we'll catch you next week. So until next time, take care.